It's not one I'd watch if it was on TV, so I'm glad it's not. It's. I think I'm going to go for Wakefield off the back of just having that freshness of Eddie Batty and Sandwich Smasher Ahoy. But there's not much in it.
Yeah, when I saw Kyle Wood back in to the squad, I sort of thought that's an edge that Wakefield have got in this one. But then when I thought about it overall and looked at the two sides, even though Huddersfield have been determined to not win matches, it seems, I just think you look at who's the best players on the pitch, and I do still think that Caesar, McGilvray, they're the best players on the pitch. That more of the best players on the pitch are going to be in Huddersfield shirts, I think. So I'm going to go Huddersfield by 4, but I'm not confident on that prediction at all.
No, so it is the quarterfinals or round 6.
Oh, it's not round 6, round 7.
Round 7. Oh, there you go. Round 7 of the Challenge Cup. You just copied from last week, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got 2 games on Sky on Friday and then 2 games on Saturday on the BBC. The first Sky game is at 6 o'clock kickoff. Catalans versus Salford. Catalans were awful last week, but against Wigan. But I do think that they're gonna have got things more together again by this week. Salford have had a bit of a spell off, which might not do their cohesion and confidence too many favours. I'm going to go Catalans to win this one.
Okie doke. I think Catalan on this one. I think they've got a little bit more rhythm and they've got a little bit more joie de vivre, shall we say, in the way they're playing. But it could easily go over. It could well be quite a good one to watch.
I think the Super League officials will be hoping Salford win this one because Catalans have got the most games to make up. Although they've only got one more game to make up than Salford. So with the extra windows that are opened up for fixtures, they're pretty much all Challenge Cup weekends, aren't they? So.
Yeah.
The next one is also 2 teams that will be featuring in one of those extra catch-up weekends if they lose this one. It's Leeds versus Hull KR, 8:15 p.m. kickoff. This is really tough because Jordan Abdul's suspension has changed my mind on this one. I was going to go with Hull KR because of how they've been playing. They've been playing really entertaining stuff, scoring some tries, but they've also got to some extent of addressing their defensive issues in the last couple of weeks. So I was going to go Hull KR, but Jordan Abdul's been so fundamental to their improved performances. Turning their improved style of play into an improved end result has been very much down to Jordan Abdul, I think, and he's not going to be there. So I'm going Leeds now.
I'm going to keep my optimism that it could be our year in the Cup, and I'm going KR.
Fair enough. Of course, that was a repeat of the 2015 Challenge Cup final, but we won't dwell on that.
The one that happened, yeah.
A repeat of last year's Challenge Cup final comes up at 2:30 p.m. on BBC One on Saturday afternoon. Warrington versus St Helens, and I'll let you go first on this one.
I'm thinking Saints. I think they've still got the majority of their squad together. They're looking pretty good, and they've come through some tough ones in the last couple of weeks, but they're still going pretty well. Yeah, I think it's hard to look past them.
Yeah, Wire have to fix up a replacement for Tom Lynham, but you'd expect outside of that they'll be welcoming some people back who've been on the 2-week self-isolation, so that'll play in Warrington's favour. And Clark missed the game, didn't he? Because of the birth of his first child, I think. So congratulations to him on that. But he'll be back, you would guess. Maybe a little bit sleep deprived and a little bit delirious, but he'll be back. So Warrington should be more up to speed. But St Helens are the best team around at the moment, so I've got to pick them to win. That's as simple as that, isn't it? Really, St Helens for me.
Yeah, well done.
Saturday 5 p.m.
So
on BBC Two, Hull FC versus Wigan. What do you think? Hull FC obviously picked up some injuries. That'll be a factor, maybe.
Yeah, I think so. But it's hard. But I think Wigan will probably do this. That they've got generally the better injury position. I think the same way we see the week after Good Friday, you always see a lag, and you see it sort of hits you in that week with small injuries that become bigger injuries or various, I think, and just general fatigue. So I think Wigan will be the benefit of their extra rest.
Yeah, I'm going to tip Wigan to win as well. I think the Albert Kelly injury is maybe the most worrying one from Hull FC's perspective. Obviously, he limped off right near the end, didn't he, of that Challenge Cup game. So it didn't have a great effect on that match, but it will have an effect on the next match this week. I do feel Wigan will have had only one more day of rest for this, but they didn't have the two games close together. They did have the long day of travelling, and I don't think the players were back at home and in the beds until 1-2 a.m. in the morning, sort of thing, on Sunday. So they won't really have had an extra day to Hull FC, but the Hull FC had the two games, which has that knock-on impact. But they can mix and match and change things up a little bit, I suppose, Hull FC, and they will have to, won't they? If Shaw, what's the protocol on the concussion? Because Shaw wasn't able to come back. I think it's 6 days, but is it 6 days like six slots of 24 hours? So this game kicks off 6 slots of 24 hours after the last game finished. So it might be available.
Yeah, I think it is a continuous clock. So I think it will be from when the game finished. So I think he could theoretically be in contention.
And then Ratu Nulongo, I don't know what they'll want to do with him, because he's so impressive in moments when he does play, but this cramping calf issue things, and it might have been his hamstring as well that went too. It does seem to have some problems with his leg muscles from time to time. I remember his debut game for FC cramped up terribly in that game and had to go off, and we've seen it from him a couple of times. I just think Wigan looked really good with like their key players in key positions. So French, Hastings, Luluai and Powell, all key. O'Loughlin might return, but even if he doesn't, Havard and Joe Shorrocks have been fantastic as loose forwards. Joe Bullock might be a question mark, because he picked up a hand injury, and it's always game to game with George Burgess with his hip at the moment is kind of a bit part because of his hip injury. It's really quite on one part frustrating and annoying to see, and quite disappointing and sad to see on another part. But I can't see Wigan with having that game less over the recent time and being a better side not winning this one. But that's my view as a Wigan fan. I'm sure Hull FC fans will have a different view, and it wouldn't shock me because Hull FC have been so good in the cup in the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, and they knew they were playing this third game before they played the lot. They knew it was coming in quick succession. So, and they knew the opposition, so that you expect them to have some plans for it.
Yeah. Round 19 Brit Watch picks in the NRL. Rabbitohs versus Bulldogs Thursday 10:50 a.m. Eels versus Broncos Friday 10:55 a.m. Roosters versus Sharks. I mean, we'll put it on because Ryan Hall's still a Rooster, but he's not going to play. Saturday at 10:35 a.m. and then the Raiders versus the Warriors Sunday at 5 a.m. So those games are kind of expected to be one-sided, you would think, all across the board, but we'll see how it goes. But
if you've got anything to say about any games, then get your fan views in. We'll talk about what you talk about, so get them in on the Google form.
Yep. Okay, it's time now to move into the show wrap-up finally. We will start the wrap-up as we traditionally do with the SLP quiz. 3 quiz questions on a chosen topic from the last week. It's the Ryan Atkins quiz this week, Tim.
Oh, good.
So how well do you know Super League's greatest try celebrator, yet not the greatest try scorer? No questions about when he jumped into the corner post. And just what that was one of the most, we talked about Myler's dropout, spectacularly going wrong. That time where he went for the diving try and ended up just jumping up but not forwards and losing the ball was one of the most spectacular mistakes ever. But Ryan Atkins has done a lot of good stuff as well in his career, let's not forget. And the first question relates to the start of his career. So, for which club did Ryan Atkins make his senior debut for in 2005?
Wakefield.
No, it was for Bradford in the Challenge Cup versus Featherstone. So he was at the Bulls, but with some star names in front of him still back in 2005 days, he left the Bulls to go and try and seek more game time at Wakefield. So yeah, it was Bradford. Question 2. Which former Super League side has Ryan Atkins scored the most the most tries against?
The London Broncos?
No, it's Bradford again. In his career, he's scored more tries against Bradford than any other side. 21 tries. He has scored 19 against Leeds, so he likes his battles with the West Yorkshire sides there. 18 against Catalans and 18 against Salford as well. But Bradford, he really did want to punish them for not giving him an opportunity back at the start of his career, didn't he?
Yeah.
And finally, on Ryan Atkins, in which 2 years did Ryan Atkins win the Challenge Cup with Warrington? I'll give you half a point for each to be nice.
2013 and 2016.
It was 2010 and 2012, both versus Leeds, scoring 2 tries in the 2010 final and 1 try in the 2012 final. He also lost the 2016 final against Hull FC, so he did play in that one, but he lost it there. So yeah, your Ryan Atkins knowledge is about as good as his ability to claim a try, isn't it? No, the opposite.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of his ability to claim a try, because he's amazing at claiming a try.
Claiming a correct try, yeah.
I'll never, for all my days, I'll never forget when he tried to celebrate a try in the grand final against Wigan, and I just knew with supreme confidence that he hadn't got it down because it was Ryan Atkins celebrating. Normally you'd be worried in that high pressure situation. You're watching your team in a close, nail-biting grand final. It could swing the game one way or another. But it was Ryan Atkins, so I knew he hadn't got it down. Okay, let's move on to our any other business, any recommendations we've got then, Tim. What have you got for us this week?
So I would recommend Canada's Drag Race. So it's by the team who make RuPaul's Drag Race, but it's Canadian and RuPaul is suspiciously absent. But other than that, it's exactly the same. It's on the BBC iPlayer and it's a thoroughly good fun series to watch. Quite similar to the UK version. It's a bit nicer than the American sort of all-out war you get between the queens, but it was a good fun watch. So we've enjoyed that. And then the second one I'd say would be swimming in a lido. Very much enjoyed that this afternoon. Getting out in some cold water, and it was cold, but it was good fun.
I think people who've got lidos near them should support the lidos as well, because they're an important part of sort of our architectural heritage. A lot of lidos and outdoor swimming pools and that sort of stuff, and a lot of them kind of got left by the wayside, I would say, during the sort of 80s, 90s and noughties. So probably a lot of areas where they have a local lido that is still closed have got local support groups to get them sorted out and reopened. But yeah, lidos are cool.
Yep.
I'm not much of a swimmer though.
There we go.
But you are.
Yes. Yeah. Well. Yeah. Yeah. It's something I enjoy as a whistle, and yeah, being in cold water is something I do quite respond to, so I quite enjoy that.
What was the was there any interesting COVID protocols at the Lido?
We've been a couple of times now, and it's quite marshalled. So it is you turn up for your time. You've got a time